5 people face charges after a drug bust in Irondale, and one of them is a popular social media influencer. 21-year-old Mark Holmes is charged with 2 counts of drug trafficking and possession charges. Holmes has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
MkSlatt laughed.
Charges. Holmes has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
From making the internet laugh with skits to getting caught up in federal raids and running a fentanyl operation, MkSlatt's story is one of the wildest flips the social media world has ever seen. Before the viral videos, the jokes, and the skits, he was Mark Holmes, a kid from Alabama, where you either make money, get clout, or get caught slipping and end up a pack. But how does someone go from posting goofy-ass skits online to becoming a headline in a federal investigation? And was this downfall something he saw coming? Or was it all caught on camera before anyone even realized? Just look at bro. He's the last person I would expect to be running a whole drug ring. Today, we're breaking down everything about MkSlatt, the rise, the laughs, the empire, and the chaos that followed.
You, the small one, bring your leg here. This is my yard.
Hey. Bro, what is these tattoos? Number 1, hashtag number 1. You got a cross.
You want to check in with me, homie? You get shanked, homie. Straight up.
Before MkSlatt ever went viral, before anybody knew his face from Instagram skits or TikTok clips, he was just Mark Holmes, a regular YN growing up in Alabama, in an environment that didn't exactly hand out many exits. Alabama isn't Hollywood. It's not Atlanta. It's not LA. It's low-key a shithole. It's the type of place where everybody knows everybody, police move quietly, and opportunities feel limited unless you're willing to leave or hustle. From a young age, MK was surrounded by the same pressures a lot of kids from the hood deal with. Money problems, street influence, and that constant push to grow up fast. There wasn't much room for being just a kid for too long. You either adapt, crash out, or find something that separates you. And for MK, that something was personality. People who knew him early on described him as loud, animated, always joking, always acting out scenes.
These the same size as my... These are the same size. Yeah, the same size. Yep.
He wasn't the biggest, wasn't the toughest, but he knew how to command attention. In school and around the neighborhood, he was that dude cracking jokes, exaggerating stories, imitating people, basically turning everyday hood situations into comedy. That's important because comedy for MK wasn't just entertainment, it was survival. When you grow up around chaos, laughing at it becomes a coping mechanism. Instead of talking about trauma directly, you joke through it. Instead of showing fear, you turn it into a skit. That's how a lot of YNs move. Humor becomes armor, but at the same time, MK wasn't growing up in a bubble. He still saw the street side early. He still watched older dudes getting money the fast way. He still saw guns, drugs, and respect tied to image. So even while he was the funny one, he was still absorbing the same environment, learning what gets you attention, what gets you respect, and what gets you labeled as him in the hood. And that's where things start getting tricky. Because when you grow up somewhere that doesn't separate entertainment from real life, sometimes the line gets blurry. The jokes start sounding like confessions. The skits start mirroring reality. And before you realize it, you're not just making fun of the lifestyle anymore, you're living inside it. At this stage, MkSlatt wasn't famous yet. He wasn't rich. He wasn't on the radar. But the foundation was already there. A kid from a rough environment, a natural performer, in a world that rewards attention more than direction. And once the internet entered the picture, everything changed.
I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
When MkSlatt first touched the internet, it wasn't on no industry timing, no management, no rollout, no plan. It was just a YN with a phone, Wi-Fi, and a sense of humor that felt too real to ignore. His skits didn't look polished, and that's exactly why they worked. MK wasn't doing scripted comedy like some influencer trying to be clean for brands. He was recreating real hood moments, the dumb arguments, the over-the-top reactions, the crash-out characters everybody recognizes from their block. The type of skits where you watching like, nah bro, I know somebody exactly like this. That authenticity made him different. While a lot of comedians online were exaggerating fake situations, MK was exaggerating real energy. Same slang, same facial expressions, same chaotic vibe. And because he grew up in it, it didn't feel forced, it felt natural. The algorithm loved that. Clips started circulating fast on Instagram and TikTok. One skit would pop, then another, then another. Next thing you know, MkSlatt isn't just funny, he's recognizable. People quoting his lines, pages reposting him without credit, comments full of, "This too real," and "Bro funny as hell." And for the first time, MK had something most YNs from his environment don't get early on. Attention that paid. Views turned into followers, followers turned into money, and money turned into validation. That part is important. Because when you grow up broke or stressed, money doesn't just feel good, it feels like proof. Proof that you made it. Proof that you're doing something right. Proof that you're smarter than the system that...
Niggas, bro, I'm gonna keep it real. Some of these niggas, bro, they make it out the hood. They got hella money, but they don't know what to do with it, bro. They just crash out, or they just blow the money away, bro. I never understood.
Tried to box you in, but the internet also comes with pressure. Once MK got known for a certain type of humor, street humor, crash out humor, switch jokes, drug jokes, that's what the audience expected. And every time he posted, he had to outdo the last one. So the skits started getting louder. The characters started getting wilder. The lines between parody and reality started thinning. At first, nobody saw it as dangerous. It was just content. But slowly, his online persona stopped being a character and started becoming an identity. The same energy that made people laugh also started shaping how people saw him and how he saw himself. MkSlatt was no longer just a funny dude from Alabama. He was the crash-out comedian, the exaggerated hood stereotype, the internet version of somebody who lives reckless. And the more the audience rewarded that image, the harder it became to separate it from real
this was recent. I ain't know. Okay.
Life. By this point, MK was winning, views were up, money was coming in, clout was real. But beneath the jokes, the environment never changed. And that's where the danger really started. At some point, the internet stopped laughing with MkSlatt and started watching him closely. Because if you go back and really study the content, there was a shift. Not all at once, but enough that people who were paying attention could feel it. The skits didn't just reference street life anymore. They started flexing it. Jokes about switches turned into videos with real guns in the background. Funny exaggerations turned into imagery that felt less like parody and more like proof.
What going on? What happened, bitch?
Man, the boy had got the bump and the boy ended up hit me.
Who all the one?
Bro, Latair and them.
Terry.
Yeah. Man, I don't know who the other nigga was, boy.
Got to have the better club.
And the character that once felt cartoonish started looking uncomfortably real. That's usually how it goes. When somebody grows up around a lifestyle, makes jokes about it, and then gets rewarded for those jokes, the brain starts mixing signals. The audience thinks it's entertainment. The creator starts thinking it's branding. And branding comes with expectations. MK's comments section changed. Instead of just laughing, people started hyping the image. He really liked that. This ain't just skits. Bro living what he rapping. That type of validation is dangerous, especially for a young dude who's still figuring himself out. Because
just because he he was a comedian, bro, or whatever the fuck he was. So him being like that or not cap rapping, what the hell does that do? Like, his technique was not being a gangster, drugs, and it was being a funny ass nigga on the internet, aka a comedian. So if he really was like that, he just putting him on the spotlight for the feds.
now you're not just being funny, you're being watched as a representation. And instead of stepping back, MK leaned into it. The tattoos started stacking up, including the infamous emoji-style ink that people...
Bro, like somebody else, bro, some kids drew on this nigga neck, bro. Gang, kids done did this. He let somebody kid draw on him, but just with ink.
Clowned at first, then questioned later. His appearance got more aggressive. His music leaned darker, his visuals got louder. Parking lots, weapons, crash out energy everywhere. To the internet, it looked like an aesthetic. To law enforcement, it looked like evidence. And that's the part a lot of creators don't understand. The internet never forgets, and the feds don't care about jokes. Every post is a timestamp. Every video is a snapshot. Every just playing moment becomes context later. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, MK wasn't just a content creator anymore. He was moving in circles that didn't match the image of a comedian who had something to lose. And once you're known, you don't get the luxury of moving reckless quietly. That's where the first real danger signs pop up. Because when the persona you're selling online matches what investigators are already watching in real life, the internet stops being a stage.
Bro, you famous as fuck. And I just bit my tongue. You famous as hell. You in the hood. You doing illegal ass shit. You don't think the feds are gonna see it? Like, y'all niggas gotta start thinking twice when y'all do stupid shit.
And starts being a paper trail. Most fans didn't watch it. They just kept scrolling. But the shift had already happened. The comedian was still there, but now he was sharing space with something heavier, something riskier, something that didn't disappear when the camera cut off. And the moment the character became reality, the countdown had already started. At this point, MK wasn't just joking about drugs or switches anymore. He was around people who were really in it, people who didn't see the internet as a joke, and definitely didn't see it as a shield. The more he leaned into that lifestyle, the more reckless the optics became. Guns in videos, aggressive music, visuals that look less like comedy and more like statements. And here's the part a lot of YNs don't think about. When you're already known, everything you do hits harder. Police don't need rumors, they need patterns. And MK's pattern was loud. To law enforcement, this wasn't a comedian acting wild for views. It was someone with visibility repeatedly placing himself around illegal activity, posting it publicly, and daring the system to ignore it. That's when
it be so crazy. And y'all wanna know what another crazy thing, bro? The people that really wanna make it out the hood and the people that really wanna do shit with their life and really wanna take their life seriously, they don't get the chance to make it out the hood. But when it's motherfuckers like him that don't really give a fuck, they stay in the hood or not, or they broke as hell or not, or they just do goofy shit, it's like they be the ones that make it, bro. It's crazy. It's real life crazy out here. It's crazy like that.
Eyes start watching. Federal eyes don't move fast.
If I was an MkSlatt, bro, you wouldn't see me in no type of gang. You wouldn't see me selling drugs. You wouldn't see me killing nobody. You wouldn't see me rapping about no gangster shit. You wouldn't see me doing none of that. You got a million plus some followers, bro. What does that tell you? Like, man.
They move quiet. They collect. They wait. They build. When real life caught up. By the time MkSlatt's name was ringing online, his real life was moving in a completely different direction. One that didn't care about views, followers, or viral skits. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Fame doesn't remove you from your environment. It just puts a spotlight on it. And MK never really left. While the internet still saw him as the funny YN playing character, people close to the situation say his lifestyle was starting to line up a little too well with the image he was posting. The same slang, the same references, the same energy, except now it wasn't just for content. This is usually how it happens. You get money, but not enough to fully separate. You get clout, but not enough to relocate. You get attention, but not enough protection. So instead of leaving the environment, you start mixing roles. Comedian online, street dude offline, and that's a dangerous balance. And by the time the internet started clowning MK for being too extra, the investigation was already deeper than anyone realized. Because while fans were laughing and critics were calling it self-snitching, street life doesn't care if you're famous. It only cares if you're involved. And once those two worlds fully collided, there was no way out that didn't end ugly. The raid wasn't random. The charges weren't sudden. They were the result of time, attention, and a lifestyle that got documented too well. And when the knock finally came, it came heavy. In December 2023, everything MkSlatt had been building online and offline came to a hard stop. Early in the morning, around 7 a.m., multiple law enforcement agencies pulled up to a residence in Irondale, Alabama to execute a search warrant connected to an ongoing narcotics investigation. This wasn't a random bust. This wasn't local cops acting on a tip. This was coordinated. According to official reports, the operation involved the Leeds Police Department, the Irondale Police Department, and later drew attention from federal agencies, including the ATF and Homeland Security. Inside the residence,
ATF?
officers took multiple individuals into custody, including MkSlatt, real name, Markel Demetrius.
And then the people that's around him, they not even real friends, bro. If they was your real friend, they would tell you to keep going with your skits and shit. They got you selling drugs. What is you selling drugs for? You're rich. You rich. Why is you selling drugs? Or are you making money every other day? Every day? Why is you selling drugs for extra income, bro? Like, at that point, you should just got a job for extra income. Where you can, like, I don't know what's
Holmes, along with several associates. What they allegedly found is what changed everything. Police reported recovering multiple firearms, including Glocks, equipment used to convert semi-automatic weapons into fully automatic firearms, commonly known as switches, illegal narcotics, including fentanyl and methamphetamine, drug packaging materials, and paraphernalia. According to authorities, the residence was allegedly being used as a drug packaging and distribution location, not just a place people were hanging out. That distinction matters because possession is one thing, trafficking is another, and modifying firearms pushes it into a whole different category. Law enforcement publicly stated that the scale of what was recovered suggested organized activity, not personal use. That's when the narrative officially shifted from internet comedian arrested to something much more serious.
Muriel Bailey here at the live desk. Drug trafficking
Amounts told the story before the internet even caught up. Some defendants were hit with bonds in the hundreds of thousands. MkSlatt himself was reportedly given a multi-million-dollar bond. That's not normal. Once firearms with switches are involved, the federal government doesn't treat it lightly. A single switch can carry mandatory prison time on the federal level. Combine that with narcotics trafficking, and suddenly the situation goes from state trouble to career-ending consequences. While the internet was still trying to figure out what happened, the system was already moving. This wasn't a content moment. This wasn't a headline that fades in a week. This was the type of case that changes lives permanently. And as news spread, fans started realizing something uncomfortable. The jokes didn't protect him, the clout didn't slow it down, and the internet didn't help it hurt. Because now every old post looks different. Every skit, every flex, and every visual. All of it became context. MkSlatt's story isn't rare, it's just public. It shows how fast clout can turn into a trap. How self-snitching doesn't feel dangerous when the algorithm rewards it, and how the system doesn't care if you were just joking. Once the persona controls you, the ending usually isn't yours to write. If you a YN, a creator, or anybody chasing attention, understand this. The internet never forgets, and the streets don't care who you are online.
Moral of the story, bro, stay out the streets. If you got something going on, bro, go far with it.